Welcome to another episode of The Second Coming. I'm here with Brother T, and I'm your host, Jason Keaton. Brother T, how's it going?
It's going pretty good, man. We're in the almost fall, right? Well, we are in fall now. We're in fall now. Things are going good, man. I'm just having a great time this week, and just having a good time. I mean, I'm just kind of blissed out a lot. So I'm reading some new content that's been shared, from beyond the veil, so to speak, and I'm just loving the absorption of that, and just I keep going ever higher. One interesting thing I do want to share from that reading is this morning was the True Thought. The name True Thought came from, I first was introduced to True Thought in A Course in Miracles. You're only going to find it in there once or twice. But anyway, that's how I was inspired to name our ministry. It's True Thought, Spiritual Community. But it's capital T, capital True, capital T, Thought. And then what I was reading this morning was that Divine Mind, capital D, capital M, Divine Mind is capital T, True Thought. And that just brought tears to I was just like, oh, Lord, Spirit has so much fun with me. He's tricking me all the time and dropping these little nuggets of, things that don't show up sometimes for years later. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. The Spirit is amazing when you get like little glimpses from the other side of the veil, or you get glimpses of just, that's why it's so nice being present. If you're present and your mind is open to receive, it's a beautiful thing. So.
It is. I'm literally almost continuously in conversation now with Spirit. And the only time I'm not is when I'm, washing dishes or distracted with the outside form, but any inward conversation begins just as soon as I look within. Pretty simple.
Yeah. Well, I have a question that came from some of my readings this week, and was different than what I understood. So I'll go right into it. It was I was reading, and it was talking about like spirits that had crossed over the veil. A human had died, and their spirit was still holding on negative energy and was able to influence earthly beings that are still here. And it almost sounded like, to me, almost like those spirits were in hell. That's not what the reading said, but that was my interpretation of it. And one of the first times I'd read that since, studying biblical things. I was wondering if you could talk or explain to me maybe what that was, what they meant by these evil beings. I guess we're getting close to Halloween, so everybody's dressing like ghouls and ghosts and stuff. And it was ironic that I read that for the first time in a while.
Okay. Well, this is going to be fun. I'm looking forward to this conversation. So before we begin, let's draw in some spirits. Let's turn within. And take a good deep breath here. And we're going to call forth the angels, the guides, the highest level of consciousness that is available to us to join us in this conversation today. Ah, yes, we're being joined by the masters and the angels and family and the masters. We are truly blessed, truly, truly blessed. I feel so grateful for the conversation coming forth today and being guided by Spirit today. I'm grateful for my partner, Mr. Jason Keaton, for keeping me on track and in line as we enjoy these conversations with our community and anyone who might be listening in. So we say, God bless you all, as we feel blessed in that blessing. Giving and receiving are one. Behold, we make all things new. It will be so. God is, God is, God is. And so it is. Amen.
Amen.
Yes.
Yeah.
So let's jump in.
Those are some good spirits. I like those spirits. Those are nice.
Yeah, those are good spirits, right? So if we can call forth good spirits, right? Can we call forth bad spirits? Well, we can call forth, and we continuously are calling forth into our experience here in form whatever is aligning with our consciousness, right? So if I want to go rebel rousing and go to the honky tonk and get drunk and get in a fight, I can, if I really want to get in a fight, I can probably find somebody that's resonating with that frequency. Next thing you know, I got a black eye and maybe a couple of bruises and maybe a night in jail, whatever the case may be, right? Because I'm aligning with that consciousness, and I'm going to attract those experiences of other beings that are aligned in that consciousness with me. And if I'm really looking for a fight, I'll find one, right? And so I'm literally attracting that consciousness. I'm sorry, my phone here is bugging me, so I apologize for a second.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. I just got a new phone, Jason, so I don't know if I can make it work
no
or not.
problem.
Yeah, we did. Sorry about that. So we can attract an energy, and we are continuously attracting energy that is in alignment with our energy, right? Our consciousness is an energy field. So I'll give you an example. When I was a very young man, I'd just gotten married, and my wife's mother had trained her when she was younger. She would do these gatherings, and she would do seances. Now, you might have heard that term, but seances is where people are trying to call forth spirit to communicate, like seers and sages and stuff like that. But there are you can call forth whatever, remember, whatever level you're concentrating at, focusing on, and holding is what you attract. So we can absolutely call entities from the non-physical into this experience, and they can influence us dramatically, actually. So this is a very quick story. This is not to scare anybody. Certainly there's nothing to be afraid of. Absolutely. Fear begets more fear. But when you don't know that, and when you don't realize that love begets more love, it's way better energy, right? So I focus on love. And you can't simultaneously be holding an energy of fear and love at the same time, right? So anyway, so my young wife was showing me what her mother had taught. She said, and so I came home from work one day, only after a few weeks of being married, and she had a Ouija board set up in the bedroom. And we had two bedrooms, spare bedroom, and she had a little table set up under the window. And she said, I want to show you. So she started doing an incantation, and we were both holding whatever positions, our fingers or hands or whatever, on this Ouija board. I've never had that experience before. Anyway, there's a little bit of light coming in from the window. We're up next to the window, and it's late in the afternoon or evening, early evening, if you will, or late evening. So there's light in the room. The lights, I can see her, and suddenly she's doing this incantation, this attunement. I don't know. That's, I think, probably the right way to say it. And she's calling forth what she believed to be a spirit guide. But I looked over, the doorway was immediately to my left, straight out to my left. Nothing else in the room, no other furniture in the room. It was a brand new apartment we'd just gotten. And suddenly I see this blackness moving into the room. And so I'm just now completely ignoring what she's doing, and I'm watching this, and it just looks like almost like a cloudish, but it's not a cloud. I mean, it's just like it's absorbing the light, and it just keeps moving closer and closer. And suddenly this happened within 3 to 4 seconds. And it comes across the room, and suddenly she begins to disappear. I mean, this blackness is overtaking us both. And I went, whoa, I scream, really. Like, yeah, and I toss the tables. I mean, literally, it's like, oh, don't ever do that again. It scared the hell out of me.
I think I'd be very scared to this day if I saw anything like that. Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So what did I learn? You can call forth, and I won't say that they're evil, but they're not operating out of love. The energy itself was visible, right? And the energy of love is visible. It's happening all around us if we'll pay attention to it. So the question is, can we call forth evil spirits? Well, according to what you're asking, and I have some reference to that information you're sharing, is that absolutely we can call forth to be joined and to be attracted to, just like I can go to the bar or I can go to the church, right? And I can have completely different experiences of frequency, of vibration, of consciousness. And so there are those who transition and they enjoy so much. Their consciousness is they are kind of addicted to the egoic construct of control. And so when they transition, they just don't want to let go because they like, they like messing with people here in form. And then when they transition, they still like messing with people and so when somebody's doing something like a seance or, Ouija board or just calling forth negative, or maybe they're just in a hateful energy themselves, they can be influenced by the non-physical. Now, that is not something to be afraid of, because you are the gatekeeper. Each of us individually are the gatekeeper. We cannot be possessed. So those if you believe you can be possessed, then you can call forth an entity that can align with your belief system and to make it an experience for you, but you cannot be possessed. And so when I do an attunement or when I do a prayer, I want to be informed by and approached by the highest energy available, right? By the highest energy, by the energy of love. Thank you, Jesus, right? I love Jesus because his energy is rock solid. You don't have, if you call forth
Right.
Jesus, you know where you're at. You're in the midst of love, right? Love itself, the Prince of Peace and the King of Love. Really, he was the angel of love. And so, all that to say, I'm not sharing this to cause anyone any upset or fear. Actually, that's the good news. The good news is you're in control of what you bring forth into your life in the outer and in the inner. So always do an attunement and always pray and ask to be received and to be blessed by the highest vibration available, the highest vibration possible that you can hold. And see, we all graduate, and we talked about this a week or so ago, where you can, whatever consciousness level you're at, you can hold a certain vibration, you can hold a certain field of frequency. So raise your, and the whole planet now is rising in consciousness. The whole planet is rising in vibration. In fact, not too long ago, all the airports all over the world had to change the numbers on the end of the runway. You might remember that because you were a pilot.
Oh yeah.
Because there was a shift in the magnetic field of the planet. Now,
Right.
There's an entity that's been channeling through Lee Carroll and identifies as Cryon. And Cryon has never been in physical form, but he is the magnetic master. And his task was to shift this magnetic field of our planet. Now, this goes back about 20, 25, maybe almost 30 years ago.
Yeah. Okay.
Because our consciousness had shifted right around the time of the harmonic conversion back in the 80s, and then again at the period of the millennium in the late 90s, and then the turn of the millennium in the year 2000. And our consciousness had shifted to the point that we were ready for the next level of ascension. And that's really what's going on. That's indeed what's going on. So all these things are fun little stories, right? And I like this stuff. So I've been digging and reading and consuming all this now for decades. And, all these little stories are in there somewhere. If you ask about them, they'll probably pop up.
Yeah. And like you said, so for the viewers, the runways, when we land on as pilots, we come in and the runway is marked to the magnetic heading. So if you're heading north, the runway would be 36, like for 360 degrees. Yeah. Same if we were landing to the south, it would be runway 18. And
so it's a compass. It's a compass reading, actually, right?
Yeah, the compass heading, and like you said, it changes over time. The Earth's magnetic field. So what might have been runway 36 is now runway 35 because it's the magnetic shift is, and that's interesting. And Cryon. Let's talk a little bit about Cryon. He's one I'm not too familiar with. Give me a little bit of glimpse into Cryon because I'm very interested.
Well, he's being channeled by Lee Carroll, This goes back, well, again, I think even before the harmonic conversion in the 80s. But he had agreed before his incarnation, as we all agree to lots of things before we incarnate. He had
Hmm.
agreed to work with Cryon, and he had worked with Cryon in millenniums past. We're eternal beings, by the way. We are eternal beings, and
Right.
we've been around a long time. So anyway, he had agreed to help for Cryon to communicate to us when he was incarnated. And so it was a kind of a setup. And he, just a little bit of background on Lee. He was kind of a very detailed person. I'm going to say almost like a personality that's much like an engineer or an architect, or something like that. Very detailed and no BS. I mean, he was very matter of fact, and he wouldn't accept anything that he couldn't validate, by his own research and work, etc. So for him to begin receiving this work from this entity called Cryon, and Cryon introduced himself to him, it was just blew his mind, right? And he was like freaked out, and so he was really kind of afraid of it, but he was being assured by Cryon that it was okay, and he started doing these little gatherings. And next thing you know, he's been doing these mega meetings literally all over the world, and been doing this now for several decades. But Cryon is the magnetic master. And Cryon, he's written 14 books. I've read every one of them, and some of them I've read several times. The very first one is entitled "The End of Times," right, or "The End
Mm.
Times," or something like that. And I think I have that one on an audiobook, and I've listened to it over and over and over and over. But Cryon really kind of gives you some behind the scenes information that you're just not going to hear, anywhere else. You just don't. I mean, when I was just so intrigued with it when I first started reading it. But that's helped me to move the obstacles to the awareness of the presence of love out of my own life and my own belief system. I've let go of a lot of former beliefs, and have been awakened to so much new information over this last couple of decades. It's been an amazing experience. But Cryon is really well worth reading and learning and listening to. If you're ready for that, you'll know, follow your
Yeah.
guidance. We all have this inner guidance. If it's something that excites you and it kind of grabs you, then you'll know that you're listening to the right information.
Oh, I love that. And you talk about a gathering and communicating with entities and stuff. Um, am are we able to, like, through meditation or prayer, um, call forth spirits that talk to us? Do we just silence our mind, or how does that work? Like, are we able to uh, quiet our mind enough and open our mind enough to receive downloads ourselves?
The short answer is absolutely. We are all, channeling all the time. We just don't really realize it. And I'll give you a little proof here that you can check for yourself, or at least I'll just say it's my proof. Have you ever heard of something called an intuition?
Absolutely.
And it's an intuitive self, right?
Right.
So is that you, or is it something else?
Hmm. Yeah, I guess it would. I mean, it's your own voice usually. It's interesting.
Well, yes, that's important that you said that. Thank you for elucidating that. It is everything you're going to hear from whoever is speaking to you is going to be in your voice, because it's your mind, it's your voice, and
Hmm.
you're one with everything anyway. So no matter who you're communicating, whether it's Cryon or Jesus, you're a part of that self as well, right?
Hmm.
We are all
Right.
part of this huge family of. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and we are the Word. Word, I am Word. Right? We've been sharing that attunement
Right.
these last couple of weeks.
Right.
So, with all that being said, absolutely, you can dial in. And for myself, it goes back directly to 2014 for me, which is now 10 years ago now. And I was meditating late one night, and I just there was an access point. I call it an access point that opened up. Now, I had been studying A Course in Miracles for several years. In fact, I had been teaching it for a while. And so I'd been doing some work, and I'd studied Buddhism for 10 years before that, or however long that was. So I had been doing quite a bit of work to reposition my belief system, to recondition, my mind. And I had been meditating a lot. So that was opening up my mind as well. And then I found A Course in Miracles, or it found me, as we say. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And so anyway, long story short, on April 4th of 2014, I had I'll call it a revelation, because it revealed itself to me, and suddenly I heard a thought and I realized that wasn't my thought. And I said, that's not my thought. And then the voice said, yes, because we believe in separation. Our whole construct of existence here is about separation. So we believe spirit's over there, God's out there, Jesus is over there, right? And the bad guy's over there, the boogeyman's down there, whatever we've been conditioned to believe. But it's all based on separation. Well, in truth, we have to let go of that construct. Eventually, we have to surrender to the truth that we are one. We are all joined in mind, right? In divine mind, capital D, capital M mind. And that is a true thought, right? That we are all one, right? So we're all influencing each other continuously and nonstop. And so again, as we started out saying, whatever consciousness level you're holding, whatever your thoughts are things, they have a vibrational field. And whatever you're holding and whatever you're, giving your awareness and attention to, it's expanding because of your awareness and attention. You're very powerful. You're a very powerful creator. And that energy goes out and attracts back to itself like energy. Fear begets more fear. Love begets more love. And your thoughts beget more of the thought energy that you're holding, right? So be careful what you think, in the sense that if you want to have more joy and more peace in your life, be more joyful and be more peaceful, right? Be still and know that I am God.
I love that. I love that. And for all of us that are here today, is there a way that we can do like a quick reset? Like, let's say we've been in a funk. Maybe we've been, arguing with people and then attracting or holding a lower vibration. Is there something quick we can do? Or is there anything that we can do to kind of give ourselves a reset, to kind of just raise our vibration?
Indeed, there is. And I'm glad you brought it up. I was having a conversation with a close friend the other day, and this one was telling me that, feeling sad, maybe some depression. And I said, well, would you like a little tip on that? And they responded, yeah, I would like something. And that is very simple. Anytime you're feeling sad, anytime you're feeling some depression, whatever it might be, take a good deep breath. Remember this. It's like tapping the brake. I like to teach it this way. You're driving down the highway at 80 miles an hour, and you can do 80 in Texas, I think. And and there's an accident ahead in the road. What do? Do you hit the gas and speed up? You see the lights? Or do you speed up, or do you tap the brake? Do you start to slow down? Well, I think if you're prudent, would slow down, right? So anytime you're feeling anything that's discomfort, that's uncomfortable and disquieting, tap the brake. And how do you tap the brake? Remember to tap the brake. Take a good deep breath. Turn within. And in this instance, here's this tip. Just ask yourself this question. What am I grateful for right now? What am I grateful for in my life? Who and what and where and what experiences am I having right now that I'm actually really grateful for? And can you feel that shift? It's an immediate shift of consciousness. Now, a shift of perception is defined here at True Thought as a miracle. That's right. A miracle is a shift of perception. And so anytime you shift from giving your energy to the egoic thought system, which is based on fear and guilt and blame as its foundation, and sometimes that shows up as anxiety or depression or, even pride, is a construct of that level of consciousness. Fear, right? Apathy, all those things, or a foundation out of fear and blame. And so you can jump right out of that by simply saying, remember, tap the brake, take that good deep breath, and just say, what am I grateful for? So let's do that right now. Let's take a good deep breath. Let's close our eyes and turn within for just a minute. And let's each ask ourselves, what am I grateful for? And just notice the blessings that you can think of it's the people, the places, and the things that you are grateful for. Let's do that right now. Okay, so we could probably stay in that place for a while, but right away, Jason, what I was hearing was that I'm grateful for you, sir.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. And I thought the same thing. I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for the family and friends around me. And that was something I was reading just this morning about being grateful for the little things that, the change in your pocket, just the little things that we can be grateful for every day. And when we hold that vibration of gratitude and love, it's infectious. And that's what we call in with our own vibration.
Right. I know we've been talking for a little bit, and we could go on for another hour easily, but there is I just want to say, a template that I like to use when I'm teaching A Course in Miracles to students, one-on-one with people as well, like classroom situations. And that is to imagine what I want to call as an upper room. And so let's say you're walking down an alley and you see this little stairway, and you see a light coming out of this doorway, and you hear this laughter and you hear this joy up there, and you see this bright light coming out of this doorway up there. Kind of makes you want to climb that stairs, right? So you do that. You climb that stairways and you walk in there, and there's so much joy, there's so much bliss, there's so much peace, there's so much love coming from that space. That light is indicative of that vibration, and you have to leave the rest of it behind. You left it down there at the bottom of the stairs. So we climb that stairway to the upper room, right? And this is where the monad, this is where the Christ consciousness exists. And in that space, you can be there anytime you want, but you can't bring the bag and baggage with you. Okay? You got to let that all go. And fear and guilt and blame and opinions and all of that, you just got to let it all go. You have to surrender all that at the base of the stairway and just take a gentle stroll up those few steps into that doorway of the upper room.
I love that. I love that. And thank you for your enlightenment and your tips and tools for all of us to share and go about our day with. So Brother T, another great conversation with you. Thank you so much. I'm grateful for you, and I'm grateful for our community here. So thank you, Brother T.
I am honored myself, my brother. Honored and blessed. Thank you.
Absolutely. And for everyone watching, we'll see you on another episode of A Second Coming.
Indeed we will. Bye-bye.
See you later, Brother T.